next installment in this series, Beginner Poker Player Mistakes, is coming to you from the South Point parking garage with the Las Vegas Strip behind me. So today, game selection. I know a few people who will tell me, you know, that's the best table in the room right now. Best for who? Best for what? Like, what they usually mean is it would be the most entertaining if they were at home watching it on TV. It's really not the best for their game. I know how they play, I know what's going on at that table. They don't sync. People think the wildest, most aggressive table in the room has to be the best for them. That's not the case for everyone. If 0 is the least aggressive table you've ever seen and 10 is the most, I'm usually looking for a 7. I've played in 10s. I could handle myself. A lot of tables in Baltimore and Council Bluffs are like that. You have no choice. The entire room is just filled with tables like that. I've done it. It's not the absolute best for my game. I know what I do well, and I know what I do poorly, and I know what wild players do well and what they do poorly, and how to exploit them, and maybe I can't do that too well, and how they can exploit me, and maybe they're very good at that. A 10, most aggressive, 0 to 10, is not the best for my game. I'm looking for a 7. I know some people who will just go to the 10s and have terrible nights. It's not necessarily the best for you. Another thing you need to consider is, what are you trying to do? Not a ton of people go out looking to play like crazy lag, like Tom Dwan, but if you are, you should be looking for a table that fits this. Usually what you're trying to do will match very well against the opposite of what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to play like a maniac, you should be looking for a table that's pretty tight, pretty passive, and you can get away with a lot of bluffs. If you're looking to win at Showdown, you should be looking for the opposite. You could play tight and play made hands while everyone else is playing every hand they're dealt and playing very aggressively and very wildly. Usually the opposite is a good match. It's going to be tough to win at Showdown against tight players. It's going to be tough to get away with a lot of bluffs against very loose players. So you should be thinking about that. What are you trying to do? If your game is just, you know, winning via bluffs, or if for some reason you just want to practice that, you should go to a casino that fits that. You know, Bellagio at 11 a.m. is a good place to practice winning without Showdown. It's pretty tight, pretty passive. You know, Sahara on Friday at 10 p.m., not a good place to try that. So you should be thinking about what you're trying to do, and does the player pool match, and go to a place that fits what you're trying to do accordingly. On a larger scale, if you're thinking about doing this for a living, you need to consider the entire city. It's ironic that Vegas has my least favorite poker in the country, and I'm here most of the year. It's because I need to consider things way beyond the cards. I need to consider Airbnb. Some cities are great for it, some aren't. I need to consider taxes. I need to consider enjoying my life besides poker. I really like changing casinos here, walking the strip, the restaurants, the people, the signs, the lights. When it's dark out like this, the stars. There's a lot of cool things changing casinos, which I do a lot, that fits into what I'm thinking about. So for me, maybe not for everyone watching out there, but for me and for some other people, you need to consider in your game selection, it's really like a city selection. And I'm in Vegas a lot of the year, even though the things that happen on the table are like some of my least favorite things that I've seen in all the cities I've played. I really enjoy all the aspects of this city, besides the poker, more than any other place. Changing casinos, where I live, how often I need to change rooms, taxes, everything like that, I prefer to every other city, but on the table, I prefer every other city to Vegas. Still, all in all, when I consider every variable, Vegas is good for my game selection when it's really city selection. So these are all things you need to consider, and a lot of beginner players are not very good at it. They just think the most aggressive table in the room is best for them, and they come to Vegas for poker just because that's the place you're supposed to go to. You can't play poker for a living in Ohio. You can't do it in Florida. You can't do it in Council Bluffs. You could do it in those places. You should consider those places. So beginner players make a lot of mistakes in this arena.
I got it at the stadium in May.